We'll start right off with Kapalabhati, short, sharp exhales. We'll go about 40 pumps. So whenever you're ready, it's moving out of Ujjayi breath. Just letting the tip of the nose be that exit part of the path. And then we'll set fingers on the ground right beside our hips. We'll do a round of Uddiyana together. Feet, right? Some articulation, something that just helps you feel the feet. Slow inhalation. And then hold the breath. Bring the hands forward, swift, thorough exhalation. Remain empty. And then remembering those feet, articulating them, feeling them. Draw from the perineum, the low belly. Inwardly, up. So drawing from pelvic floor toward torso. And releasing. Resume your Ujjayi breath. All right. Right over left, half lotus. We're doing a seated spinal twist. And with all of these seated spinal twists, of course, we can make it as gentle of a twist, just depending on how we use our hands and where we place them. So inhaling, expanding the ribs, telescoping, so feeling taller, growing taller. Exhale, we'll turn to our right. Okay. So if you wanted a really mild twist, you could just palm your left knee. More moderate twist, you can palm your right thigh. And of course, the right hand can reach and grab your foot. And release. And as you're releasing, feel that the head and the brain is released also from the spine. Let's switch sides. And feeling the sit bones sinking downward. Inhale, the sit bones downward, the ribs lifting upward. And then exhaling, we'll turn to our left. Again, so more mildly, I would just use my right palm on my right knee. More moderately, I just move my right palm to my left thigh. Bringing that breath all the way up into the brain area. Just get a feel of the bottom of the brain, the back of the brain. So that when we release, we don't just drop the weight of our head back. Like that back of brain can remain really buoyant. Great. Having unwound, let's set up for a dolphin. We'll move to our elbows and our knees. Actually, let me rephrase that. We'll start off with a dolphin prelude. So we're going to get that tractioning type effect first. So when I set up dolphin prelude, I set the knees more widely than the hips. Additionally, I step them back, and with the hands clasped, elevated, start to send the sit bones back. I'm saying sit bones, it's not belly down necessarily, but as I go sit bones back, there's plenty of opportunity to breathe into and feel the belly soften. But if I start to sag my belly, it'll just feel like smush in the low back. So there's kind of that delicate balance. Feel for breathing into the low back, the low belly. And when we reset, forearms to the ground. When we reset, knees under hips. Exiting that prelude, let's now set up for dolphin. So I'm going to adjust my arms, setting the forearms and the hands down on ground. Draw the shoulders away from the jaw. Exhale the knees off the ground. And yet another place to feel the back of the neck. And I'd like to add, I'm just kind of been observing neck movement a bit. When you're relaxing or feeling the softening in the back of the neck, can you track that softening all the way to the bottom of the skull? And for those of you who have that strong imaging part of your mind, if you image the skull, you're going into that opening, that large opening on the bottom, right where the brain stem, the brain cord enter, exit. Can you follow the softening and the relaxing of the neck right up to the skull and as close to the brain as you can decipher? I'm drawing this out in detail a bit. Sometimes what I think I'm observing is when we relax the neck in, say, a pose like dolphin, we drop the weight of the head and forget or kind of exit being in the space of the neck. So I'm asking us to enter into the space of the neck and the head, to reside there, to feel there, to remain there, not to drop and go. All right, gently set knees down and kind of remain somewhat on elbows and knees in this setup. We're going to do a little bit of a side bend from here. So I'll be stretching my left arm forward and my left leg backward. When I stretch my left leg backward, I'm going to let my knee, that's my left knee, cross over my right heel. Let me show you from behind just so you get the sense of what I'm saying. So I'm going to stretch my left leg back, sure. I start to enter what is almost like a little bit of a pigeon. And you see how I'm letting my knee just be on the outside or behind my right foot. All right, so I step that left leg back, but I'm also stretching my left hand forward, walking it forward. That's the move. It may feel like a very high up pigeon, and that's okay. If I want more arc, I reposition the left knee. I just reposition my left knee more to the right. I'm using my right arm to push. So there's that element of I'm not collapsing in the shoulder. I'm pressing with the right arm. Some of you may feel this more in the right hip, some of you more in the left side, under the left armpit. Allow the neck to relax here. Good, and we'll reset. I will change the other side. So it's coming out of this dolphin setup. My forearms are down. I stretch the right leg back. I walk the right hand forward. There's all sorts of little details you can add from there. That's the gist. It's a side bend. And then inhaling into the right side ribs. As we're inhaling, I'll recommend play with the fuller side of that inhalation. I was describing the other day how when we were doing breath holds, there's some real magic in being able to hold the lungs full and voluminous, how it offers kind of a stretching in some of those deep chest and lung tissues. Well, when we can't do breath holds, we can at least play with the fuller aspects of inhalation. So I can inhale, and literally kind of stretch my way into those deep reaches of chest wall and rib muscle. And of course, gradually it does help us to slow and to deepen our ordinary breaths when we're off the mat. All right, we'll reset the right knee. And when we walk our way up or bring ourselves up, we'll be doing a couple of things at the wall. One is lunges at the wall, and the other is either forearm balance or dolphin at the wall. So let's arrange for that. I'll give you a moment to bring some mat over to the wall. I'll start with my right knee. I'm getting that right knee as near into the corner as possible. And easing into lunge against a wall. And this is likely one place where we may have inadvertently started to collapse or squeeze or draw together the bones of the head toward the bones of the neck. So one of the ways we can study this, and I'm doing the exact thing that most of us do, is we're going to get off of our forearm, off of our thigh, and actually get our head over our tail. And if you need to use the hands on the wall, that's fine. But as we get our head over our tail, it'll be, I think, a lot easier to feel if we're compressing or freeing the underside of the head. And instead of focusing on the stretch of the leg or the hip, what if we were to focus on how much passage this information has to and from our head? In other words, doing the pose so that its lightest touch can be felt underneath the head. It's really amazing how the pose starts to open up. Now here's the ultra advanced move. Can you still feel this? I'm pointing to my head as we switch sides. So feeling and maintaining, moving with that lightness and that buoyancy between brain and neck as we switch over to the other side. And again, once we're on this other side, what would it be like to work this pose? So the lightest touch under brain, right at that juncture where skull becomes spine. To me, this is one of those junctures in the body where when we learn how to contact here and be here and have some awareness of this area, teaching ourselves how to breathe into our brain opens up. And I gotta say, like, getting to put hands on a lot of heads, it is really neat when people have that skill or that ability or to breathe into their head space and into their brain structure. There's something so cool about that fluid movement in the brain and around the eyes. And all right, so we're going to release from here. And we're setting up for forearm balance or dolphin at the wall. I want you to choose what you'll feel stable. Yeah, so if you don't want to kick up, you don't have to kick up. I do a little of each. So we'll be upside down for anywhere from 4 to 10 breaths. Big window. I'll start off in dolphin at the wall, just talking into it. If you're wanting to just kind of feel and be in and with the neck region I'm just talking about, you might find dolphin at the wall can help you. There's a lot of support. You can step in slowly. There you go. It can feel very weighty on the shoulders until we get our tailbone over our brain. And maybe that's the most common adjustment I help people with, is just getting their feet on the wall so their hips are over their shoulders, over their head. Great. As you're finishing that up, and there's no rush, we'll just move our mats back to a working spot. And we'll stand at the top. Inhale. We'll reach, growing the fingertips up. Exhale, fold. Ooh. Inhale, step the left foot back. Lunge. We'll give it a couple extra breaths. And starting to bring that arc, the articulation of this reaching back into the upper back. So how do you get the reaching back to occur higher up in the spine than lower down? Easy twisting lunge. Inhale, backing the hips up just a bit. Set the left hand down, exhaling the right arm up. Okay, optional, as you can press your left knee off the ground. If you want to get a little warmer, you can press the knee off the ground. And inhale, bring the right hand down. Exhaling, chaturanga. We'll step the right foot back. And we'll lower down to the ground. Cobra. Inhale. From the hands, from the forearms, lengthen the upper back away from the mid-back. And if you're tender in the low back, just move the hands, start your cobra with the hands walked further forward. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. lunge. Inhale, left foot forward. Setting the right knee down. Giving it a couple extra breaths. And again, as you're reaching back with the hands, feel for that reaching back, articulating, moving the upper back bones, not just the low back. Easy twisting lunge. Inhale, right hand down. Exhaling the left arm up. Option is bringing that right knee off the ground. So if you want a little more warmth, let those legs work. Now deepen breath. Work with the breath to feel like it might be some physical work to feel that you can inhabit, to enter into the chest wall and the shoulder structure. Inhale, we'll bring the left hand down. Exhaling, chaturanga. That's true, yep. And again, if the low back is tender, just walk the hands further forward for cobra. Inhaling. As the chest lifts forward, the legs help the low back remain lengthy or supported, or not so prone to arcing. So we can kind of attenuate how much each section of the spine is moving or not moving. Exhaling, lower downward dog. All right, interlock warrior. Inhale. Right foot forward. I think right foot forward. If not, no worries. We'll get both sides. The right arm under the right thigh. The left hand behind the back. And now here's a place where we're working with that arc and that motion in the upper back. Inhale to feel the breath getting to the upper back, the upper chest. There's another place you can play with kind of stretching the inhalation in. So like we were doing before a few days ago or so, you could inhale. And you could inhale a little bit more. A little bit more. And there you can start to feel perhaps a bit more structural movement, and like you can introduce movement a little higher up and deeper into that chest wall and upper back area. We want that for today. We do. We are going backward today, so we want to bring the gift of movement. Movement's a nutrient. And just like any nutrient, we can underdo it, we could overdo it. And one of the ways it's just right is with our breath. All right, so when we release the hands, create padding for your left knee. Find your strap, and when we set that left knee down, we're going to loop the left foot to the left hand. We're just going to do this one side, left foot, left hand, and make the loop big. The wrist doesn't have to bend when we grab this loop. I like to imagine my left hand. It's kind of like a gavel. And if I wanted to boom, 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 gavel on something, I wouldn't bend or cock my wrist. Right? So keeping the right hand on the right thigh for now. Inhaling, wrangle this left elbow in. If you want to use the right hand to assist the left arm in, that's one way to do it. You'll have your arm in front of your face, but that's fine. And then let your breath go into the places. Let your breath get into the armpit and into the breast tissue. And feeling the neck and the brain area can be really soft here too. And release. We'll get that strap off. Inhaling, hands to ground. Exhaling, step the right foot back. And lowering hips to earth or hips to blanket. All right, cobra. Again, arcing, feeling how this back bend can be worked through the upper back. Inhale. Maybe you feel the breath in the upper back. And exhaling, lower downward dog. So we're going interlock warrior on the other side. Inhale, left foot forward. So we're going left arm under left leg. Right hand behind back. And again, just little details. Hopefully this is more helpful than just verbally confusing. But before I connect the hands, and it's fine if you connected the hands, but I'm starting to get my hands into that place behind my back, is often where I can feel the arc, the upper back arcing best. And then I connect the hands after I can feel that the upper back arcs. There you go, that's it. And so again, just it's a little bit of a stretch of the inhale, exploring those furthest, those fullest aspects of inhalation to help us feel into, it's like working, wiggling our way into the chest, the deep chest wall, the upper back. All right, we'll release. Let's give the right knee some padding. The strap is for the right foot and the right hand. And release. Inhale the hands to the ground. Exhaling chaturanga. Inhale upward dog. Exhaling downward dog. All right, warrior one. Inhale, we'll step the right foot forward. We're going to do a lance dodger move. I want to go left forearm to low back, like so. And the right arm, remember we have options. We can reach up and back with this right arm. Some people prefer to cradle their head and their neck so as to create some softness and support there. Entirely up to you. But as that left arm presses down as a form of back support, shoulder opening, inhale into the upper back, upper chest. Exhaling, lift with the right arm, or if it's bent, lift up through that upper arm bone. Now, if your head and your neck feel fine, you could start to look back and reach back. That's a totally fine treatment of the eyes and the head and the neck. Just that many of us are working with neck concerns. And release. Okay. Inhale, hands to ground, exhaling chaturanga. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. All right, here's that warrior one, that lance dodger, other side. Inhale, left foot forward. Right forearm to back. Left arm lifts. I want to emphasize, to get into the upper back, use the left arm. I'm just sharing some observations, but I think this left arm is kind of given short shrift. Like reach, lift, lift, lift your whole torso, lift with that left arm reach or left elbow reach. That left arm reach has stunning entry points into all of those back muscles on the left side. It's really like the whole backside. Everything that connects to the spine can be accessed through reaching. It's that stretching, reaching, growing that left limb up. So you don't have to bend back far. Reach with that left arm or left elbow. And then did you want the right arm on the low back? There you go. It's kind of a form of a brace or support. So as we're pressing down, it just helps us adjust the pelvis. And keep wrapping the shoulder. So the more that you reach, the more of that little adjustment, wrap, reach a little bit more. And release. Inhaling, just let the arms go. So now when we set a knee down, when we move to kneeling, grab some padding. We'll be working some Camel. Now one thing I really like, I'll show you this two ways, is if I have the ability to bring my hips to the wall, I really like it because I can feel that I'm moving vertically in my Camel. I can feel the vertical to backward, I guess, ratio. Now let's say I couldn't get my hips to the wall. Here's another way. And why I like hips at the wall, or facing a wall, using a wall, is it gives me a little something to press up against, so it ensures that my butt is engaged. So this is just another way I could put blocks at my lap, hip bones, and that's another way to create some space. So here we go. Camel, 6 to 8 breaths. And so you use whatever device helps you remain lengthy in the low back and articulate the upper back. So here goes. We will do a second round. I've just been holding off saying that. We'll just take time, a few breath moments between successive rounds of Camel. You can always make prop adjustments. Okay, so last round. And again, we'll just kind of go at our own pace. You can play with the inhalation, the fuller side of that breath spectrum to just create a little bit of that kind of stretchy getting in there. We do a little back release after our camel. I would usually offer lying, and if you're not next to a wall, I will recommend that. But since I'm right up next to a wall, I'm going to take my figure 4, that back release, seated. Just seems like the thing to do. Yeah. So this can, again, be done lying or against a wall. And I'm just choosing wall. I'll probably do it again on the ground anyway. So I've got my right ankle over my left thigh. Having our sit bones contacting something or not contacting something can just give us information about the, I don't know if you want to say symmetry, but that left to right tensional difference. So if I were lying, because my butt would be freely moving in the air, I couldn't quite feel necessarily some of the same deep spine structures on the left side and the right side. To me, that corresponds up to the skull. That said, there's certain things that I can't get here that I could get with my head relaxed on the ground. All right, when we release, we'll switch sides. And if you're working with a knee thing, there's some options that seated can offer for our knees, for our abdomen, for our back. Like I can enter into this back release in much milder ways than I might be able to lying. And let's release Shavasana. So make yourself restful for a few moments here. And allowing this breath, this fuel of life to be felt in every cell, in every substrate, in every layer that you can possibly feel. So letting breath kind of ignite various gases when they're in these certain relationships in our blood and so in our cells. Can be like that spark plug spark that turns over this kind of the rev, the life engine. All right. So when you're ready, bend knees, turn to a side, and when you press up, right, make great blood. This one bloodstream is the one that we have, and it feeds all of this. So make good blood, have good blood. Namaste. See you in the future.